Hi everybody, this is another Flying Rookie video, and this is the third video of my tricopter. This is the Quaternium Tricopter, and I'm gonna do I could call it the official Maiden flight because, I mean, after I put it together, I've been trying to fly in it, but because I don't got that much understanding about this type of aircraft, because unlike my older aircraft, this one, requires a servo to fly. You got a servo on the tail that controls the jaw, and since that's mechanical rather than the electronical reaction that controls the rotation of the aircraft, I've been having a little bit of trouble trying to figure it out. So finally I managed kinda to get it to work right, but I didn't have a screwdriver to play with again, so the tricopter plus with all the flight attempts that I did, I just depleted the battery, so I couldn't, actually, get to fly the way it was meant to be. So I'm at the park right now, so I'm gonna proceed to try it and see how it goes. Like, so I'm turning on my radio first. Okay, my radio's on, and now I'm gonna plug in the aircraft. Let's send the cable this way. Alright, it's on. Now let me lock the throttle because this thing, this flight controller doesn't have like an arming and disarming feature that most flight controllers out there. And while walking, I don't want to make a mistake and move the throttle and turn this freaking aircraft into a foot ninja and get caught in the hands. So I hope the gain settings are good. I believe I put them on. Yesterday I had them 50%. That's the default. I raised it to, I think it's between 65 to 70 on all three games. So let's see what's going to happen. First, I'm going to test the jaw servo. So it's working fine. Now let me unlock the throttle and proceed to fly this. Wow, I guess I got it right though. Kinda right. The only thing that I gotta do is increase the yaw. But honestly, the yaw settings that I did yesterday, they really work. I just lowered it, landed. I have to trim it a little bit. Also, I gotta, what's the name? Giving some, increase the EPA on the jaw. Is the rudder, so. I got it done. Now let me just fly it again. It feels much better. It's flying way better than before. I'm happy about that. It's a matter of trimming the aircraft. I mean, it's sad that it's not like the quadcopters that I do have with the NASA. They're so stable when you compare it with this. I mean, this thing you have to have your hands all the time on the aircraft. You cannot let go of it for a second. It's not like it's gonna hover by itself. And the thing is, you know, me as a line of sight pilot, I'm horrible. You know, it's just a flight test just to determine, you know, what kind of flying time this 3-cell battery is gonna get me, and you know what kind of improvements I'm getting on the gyros. And honestly, increasing the gains really work. It's flying nice, flying well, way better than before. One thing that I feel is I think the motors that I put, they are like too big for this aircraft. They are the NTM prop drive 3035 in size. Probably they a little bit too big, but they seem like they're doing a good job. So right now the flight controller that I'm using is the Eagle N6B2. It's a flight controller that doesn't require a computer to, you know, do any settings with it. It got some dip switches, and that's how you do whatever settings you need to do with it. So that's pretty cool. But I don't feel like it's like the best flight controller out there, the most stable. I had the flight controller on a white Tricopter, and it was working nice there. But still, it wasn't that great, and I decided to replace it with the NASA on the white 6. Then I tried on a quadcopter. I tried it to use on a Gaui 330XX that I got, and it kind of worked, but it was too squirrely, just like the same way it's acting right now over here. So it's just a matter of just set up the gains and try to find a sweet spot on this thing and see which way I can get it to work the way I wanted it to work. I don't want to crash, you know, because of oscillation. I mean, I don't want to destroy the aircraft so quickly. I want to have an opportunity to do FPV flight with it before I destroy it. Okay. But it was cheap, the flight controller is easy to understand. Just got the 3 basic gains. It's nothing like the KK2 that I saw a lot of people that use it for tricopters, and it's awesome. You got the screen and everything, but I had this problem with using you know, when you go to the gains on that flight controller, you got gains within gains within gains. You know, like between the gains, they got all the settings that you have to do together with the gains. Yeah, I say, you know what? Understanding that is almost like understanding the language of the people that makes the flight controller itself. So I said, nah, I ain't buying that. Okay, let's see if the gains are too high or the gains are good. Feels better. Well, like I said, the problem that I got with this is that it just doesn't stay hovering in one place. It just keeps swinging back and forth. That's the only thing, I mean, at least on line of sight, for somebody like me that is not good flying line of sight, it kind of bothers me. So this time the only gains that I adjust was the pitch and roll. I left the jaw in 60. I put the pitch and roll on what's the name, on pitch and roll. I put it like on 75. There was on 60, I think, but I put on 75. I don't feel any oscillation noise or anything. I feel it got a little, actually got a little tiny bit of oscillation. I see it. I just gotta lower it a little bit. Let me go my little screwdriver and put it back where it was. I guess I cannot get it better than the way I had it. So, I mean, if I was a good line of sight pilot, probably I would be doing circles and stuff like that. But since I'm not, the only thing that I know to do is just hovering as a line of sight pilot. So I know it's gonna suck flying it that way. But as a FPV pilot, since there's no orientation issues with that, I know I'm not gonna have no problems with that. I should be okay, because I'm gonna just keep flying the aircraft. You know, there's no, you know, the camera is looking forward, so it doesn't matter which direction the aircraft is pointing. The camera is always going to look forward, so I'm going to be able to just have a fluent flight, flying around, up and down, left and right, rotate with it without any issues. It's just the problem of flying on line of sight. Since I got orientation issues, I know that this aircraft is not going to be for me. The only aircraft that I fly on line of sight I feel comfortable more than any other is my Tricopter, because I got it with the NASA GPS. I got the intelligent orientation control, so it doesn't matter which direction the aircraft is looking at. It's gonna, whatever I move the sticks, it's gonna keep moving to the direction where I move the sticks, because he knows the compass know in which part, in which direction the north is. So it's gonna combine that with the GPS. But fortunately, this flight controller doesn't have any of that fancy stuff over here. I mean, any of you guys in YouTube, if you know about GPS enabled, stable, reliable, cheap flight controller that I could put over here, and it has to be a flight controller that will work as a square, not as a diamond. Because the one that I got over here is mounted as a diamond, but it's designed to be mounted with the double side gyro tape, the flight controller that I got over here. So it wasn't an issue. But this aircraft, for some reason, it doesn't take the diamond shape flight controller. So I had to mount this flight controller on top of the power distribution board. So I put the power distribution board facing down, so all the wires of the power distribution board won't be, close, in proximity with the, underneath of the flight controller, and get into a risk or have a big short circuit and electric fire. But any flight controller that goes mounted as a square instead of as a diamond, that is stable, is designed to work with Tricopters, just put in the comment section below. I would love to get my hands on one of those and replace the one that I have. This thing definitely is fine, beautiful. Yeah, I think this is the sweet spot for this gain settings. I think it's not gonna get better than this. This is the best I can do with this. Now the wind is blowing a little bit. I don't feel comfortable as a line of sight to send it really high. But honestly, I mean, it's not like I got problems with my eyesight, but I don't want this thing to, by some mistake of mine, do, like a 360 mid-air. And then lost the orientation. And right now I just want to I gotta adjust the roller trim. And this is the funny thing about the roller trim over here. I don't know why it's like that, but like normally when you adjust the trims on the radio, so the aircraft, stay, flying, to the direction it's supposed to. The roller trim is weird. It's like reverse. So, for example, if this thing was a quadcopter, I don't know all the tricopters are like that. Maybe it's this one. If this thing was a quadcopter, if suddenly, let's say I want to do the first flight, I have to trim the aircraft from the radio. If the rotor, for some reason, if the aircraft tends to rotate to the right, you trim to the left. So in that way it will compensate and stop doing that. On the tricopter it's different, at least on this one. If the aircraft is tending to rotate to the left, right now I think I reached 10 minutes of flying time, so that's really good. If the rotor is rotating towards the left, I have to give it more trim towards the left, so in that way he will, stop doing that. And normally on a quadcopter or any other aircraft, if the rudder or the jaw is going towards the left, then you just have to trim it towards the right until stop doing it and just stay flying straight. But this one is nothing like that. And that was one of the things that was so confusing for me the first day I was, flying it. So right now I don't have no issues with the yaw. The yaw still just stay, the way it's supposed to be. So that's really cool. But it's weird. It looks weird that you try to trim the aircraft. The aircraft, for example, by itself is rotating to the right. Then you have to trim it to the left until you get it, going straight. But the jaw over here, since it's controlled by a servo, for some reason the logic doesn't work the same way. So if the damn thing is, rotating to the right, then you have to trim it even further to the right, so in that way he start flying straight. Oh, my LiPo alarm. LiPo alarm says it's time to land. Okay, and my voltage is 10.7 volts, and my flying time is 11.27 minutes. So that's really good. I am flying this aircraft with a 3-cell LiPo. This is a 3300 nanotech, and this aircraft weighs, right now I don't have all the FPV equipment, but I got the GoPro housing it in there, and this aircraft weighs like around 1,300 grams. So that was a good flying time. Now the battery that I'm using right now is not the battery that I'm planning to use to do FPV. Probably not even the voltage that I'm using right now. Right now I'm flying 3 cells. I might fly this aircraft on 4-cell LiPo. I got a 3300 4-cell. These motors and these ESCs that I got are designed to work on 3 or 4-cell LiPos. So that's what I'm gonna use in here. Now let me lock the throttle, okay, and see if the motors are hot. No, I know we're in winter time, but sometimes there are motors out there. It doesn't matter if that's winter time or not. When the freaking motors, you are hovering too much, if the motors doesn't get any airflow, they hit like hell. At least this one doesn't do it. Now this is the cool thing. When you move the tail of the aircraft, the gyro moves the servo of the gel to compensate. That's really cool. Even if I got the throttle locked, my throttle's locked right now. Now I just moving the servo, the jaw, the roller stick. So that's pretty much it. Anyway, like I said, the battery that I plan to use is either a 4000 3S or 44 or 4500 3S that I just got, that weighs exactly the same weight as this 3200. It's a expensive nanotech that they call it the A-Spec, and it's 3-cell 4500. So probably that's the battery that I'm gonna use here. If I don't use that one, then I'm gonna use a 3300 4-cell LiPo over here. I do have a 4000 4-cell LiPo too. That's heavier than this battery. Maybe I use it, maybe I not. That's if I decide to stay on 3 cells rather than going on 4 cells on this aircraft. But I'm pretty satisfied that he went over 11 minutes of flying time with what I got right now. I'm really satisfied with the weight. I know once I install the GoPro and the video transmitter, it's gonna gain probably like another 150 grams. So this thing is gonna be probably below 1,500 grams of total weight, I'll up weight. So that's gonna be okay with that, So just to describe some of the stuff that I got over here, so you guys know. Then again, the motors that I got, they are NTM prop drives, and they are 3530 1100 kV. The props that I got, they are APC 10x3/8. I got 2 that they are tractors, and 1 that's a pusher. Okay, on this aircraft. The radio that I'm using is Aurora 9, and the receiver is Optima 6 from HITEC. I got a loss alarm too. So I put it on the 5th channel. I still got an extra channel. The 6th channel is open. The flight control is designed to work only on 4 channels, so it doesn't have, like a extra channel for flight modes. Both this flight controller does have 2 flight modes. You got the stabilized mode. You got sport mode that I guess is 3D, so you can do flips and all the stuff. So I got it on stabilized mode right now. You can fly 6 types of aircraft, 2 types of hexacopters, 2 types of quadcopters, white 3 and white 6. This is a tricopter, so it's white 3. And the ESCs that I got over here, they are next level. They are like hobby wing type ESCs. You can use a hobby wing programming card, and they are 40 amps because these motors they need 40 amp ESCs, and they are rapid ESCs, so they are SimonK. The batteries are Nanotech 3300 40C, I think it's 40 or 45C battery, and the servo that I got over here in the back is a HITEC digital servo. The numbers they are really small, but I think it says HS 5056 MG, so it's a Metal Gear high-speed digital servo controlling the tail on the aircraft. If you guys decide to buy this aircraft from Quaternium, it's a nice platform. I really like it. I mean, I know a lot of people they fly tricopters that are made of wood, but honestly, I don't know. I'm not crazy about having aircraft that are made of wood. I want to buy something that actually looks like a remote control aircraft, like something that somebody got from an arts and craft, store. I want something that looks like it came from a hobby shop. So that's why I bought this frame. The only frame that I saw that it looks probably as good or nicer than this one is the Talon Tricopter from Hobby, and it looks really, really nice. But I really picked this one. This is not made in China. This is made in Europe. It's made in Spain. So, I guess it's quality. I like the way it was designed. Everything. I like the way everything goes. So that's why I picked this one up. One thing is the arms. The manufacturer that recommended, just like most tricopters out there, to put like rubber bands so it will secure the arms when you are flying. You don't want the arms to fold in midair. But I'm using Velcro straps like the ones that you use on the small Align RC helicopters. I'm just two of those, and I just wrap it around the standoffs over here. One thing that I noticed is like the standoffs from the factory. This aircraft came partially built from the factory. The standoffs, they are not high enough to clear the wires that are coming from the flight controller, so I had to add an extra brass standoff, and that is right here. This little one, I think it's like 10 millimeters. I had to add it, so in that way we cleared the connectors and the wires from the Eagle N6B2 flight controller. The power distribution board is one of these GoodLuckBuy power distribution boards. Nothing special. It's one of those cheap ones that you buy on eBay. So it just fit nice. I already had a box of standoffs at home because this thing doesn't come with the standoff. So I have plastic standoff. I just mounted to secure the power distribution board. The wiring that I'm using to power the ESCs, they are the same thickness as the wires of the ESC, so they are 14 gauge. Okay, they're sending the power from the power distribution board into the ESCs. Okay, and I added some JSTs wires that are hitting over here, as you can see it, to power the OSD, the FPV equipment. And if I decide to put LED lights, at least I got extra ones. Sort of over here, I got 2 males and 1 female. So depending on what kind of upgrade I decide to do in the future for this. Okay, and as you can see, I'm mounting the single antenna. This receiver is a full range receiver. This Optima 6. I got a range of 3,000 feet. It could be either 3,000 feet up or 3,000 feet away. And you only use one single antenna. Okay, so you don't have to do with those fat satellite, like the ones that you use on the Spectrum radios. You can just use this single antenna and you get that nice range, so that's really cool. The servo, the wire wasn't long enough to reach the flight controller, so I had to use extension, so the servo could reach, the flight controller. The one thing about this frame that I'm gonna remind everybody, the frame, like I said, comes partially built. The only thing that's not attached to this frame is the tail section where the pivot motor mount goes, and these motor mounts in the front, the ones that hold the 2 front motors, they don't come attached. So the hardware that includes this aircraft doesn't come with lock nuts, so I suggest you to either buy 3mm lock nuts or use blue Loctite. And this aircraft got 2 screws over here. As you can see, I got this one here and this one here that hold these two, sandwich this rear bar, this rear arm with the center plate. So these 2 screws over here also does not have lock nuts. So even the aircraft, like I said, can partially assemble. I put some blue Loctite in there, and I did the same thing with this one. This is the screw where you're supposed to wrap around the rubber band that will hold the arm in place. So I put Loctite here and here too. Okay, so that's something that I would recommend you to do. This is the only screws from the aircraft, you know, that are critical that you guys, you know, remove them, put Loctite or lock nut, and then put them back. And these ones, like I said, they don't come on the aircraft. I mean, this motor mount doesn't come installed, and this tail section is held by these 4 screws over here into the rear arm. So don't forget to use Loctite or lock nuts over here, so in that way you won't have an aircraft that will come loose. The only lock nuts that came with this kit is these 3 that I got over here that will secure the upper plate into the aircraft. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoy this video. And like I said, you know, you got any questions or any comments, anything that you guys would like to add, any advice, because, you know, this is about learning and teach people, you know, so it's like a mutual learning experience over here on YouTube. Just put whatever comments on the comment section below, or just send me a personal message, okay, for, you know, whatever you guys need to know, or whatever you guys need to add about this aircraft, what I can do to make it fly better and everything. Anyway, this is the Maiden flight, the official Maiden flight. The next video is going to be the Maiden FPV flight, and I'm going to use the same GoPro that I got on my head. It's a Hero HD. And hopefully I should get my 400 milliwatt video transmitter sometime this week, so that way I can do a nice FPV flight. So that's the only things that I need. I need the GoPro cable that I haven't got it yet, and I need the video transmitter. I already got the cloverleaf antenna and the angle adapter. Okay, so I'm gonna put it right here in the same area where I got the receiver, but on this side. And the nice thing is the cloverleaf is going to be really high. It's going to be away or any obstruction, so it's going to be really nice to have the cloverleaf, you know, over here. Okay, so this is it for this video, and please don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, share, and favorite this video. So thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.